Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out this episode of Really Dicey. I'm here with.
Oh, that's me, Chris. Chris from Nord Games, the CEO and lead creative at Nord.
Excellent. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. I know you're really busy. Congratulations on the Oracle Story Generators Kickstarter. For those that have never heard of this before, what is it exactly?
The Oracle Story Generator is a way that you can create interesting stories with cards on the fly or before your game, or if you're just a writer and you're looking for inspiration. Basically, every deck has a theme. There's 5 different decks, and the themes include contracts and bounties, epic adventures, political intrigue, relics and artifacts, and simple side quests. Each one of these decks contains 60 cards, and within those cards, you have different types of cards. You have actors, actions, subjects, intents, and developments. With these 5 cards, as you draw them, you're able to create a story around an event. An actor did a certain action to the subjects, and this was why, and this was the developments that happened because of it or after it, or something around it that makes it more interesting. Each one of the cards has a main concept on it with one of those keywords, actor, action, subject, etc. And then it also has 4 options to give you more detail about that specific actor. In this case, you may have the actor be a warlord, for example, but then you can have 4 options on more details. What type of warlord? Are they like a humanoid? Are they a monster? That kind of thing. And that is true for every single card that we have. So you get a wireframe from the cards on their face, and then when you dive deeper into them, you get more and more of the story fleshed out for you.
What is the inspiration behind this idea?
Well, yeah, so we had wanted to develop something like this for a long time, mostly for our own purposes. And we saw some other companies come out with things that are similar. In fact, on the screen here, you can see a couple of them here on my shelf. So the story engine, and then the other one is the deck of stories. Both quality products, both good, but different. And I think we came up with something that is better. And it's nothing against them; they've got a great product, but we came at it from a different point of view. Originally, I was thinking about story structure and saying, okay, we need a who, what, where sort of a thing, and maybe a who, what, where, why, and maybe when and how, that kind of thing. How do we develop that into something where I can draw cards at random and they will work with each other? So then after some fleshing that idea out more and more and more with the team, we were able to come up with the format that we've presented the Oracle in at this point in time, which, like I said, are those 5 different card types, and you draw one of each card type where you've got a main concept and then more detail that you can pick from or roll a d4 to determine at random the additional detail about that actor, action, subject, etc.
I really like the randomness aspect to the cards, where you can just roll and different things happen. Where what like what exactly is the variety of options exactly? Like how crazy or wild will it go?
Well, so the theme is really what's going to make it, big or small as far as the consequence in your story. So if we start at the top with epic adventures, that's something that would be like a campaign level event. This is something that may be driving the story, the overarching story. And these are not just things that are actions committed by the antagonist. This could be something that could be a protagonist type character, and you can also draw 2 different stories if you want to. So, and you can draw different actors and different intents at different points of your story, so that you have maybe 2 actors. One represents the protagonist, one represents the antagonist, and then you have the overarching event is what is bringing them together in some way, but their intents might be different. They maybe have the same behavior that they're doing, but they might have different intents, or you may have 2 parallel stories running alongside of each other in the same chronological order, but it's the antagonist versus the protagonist. And it's really a fascinating system if you really dive into it. There's a lot of different ways of using it, but on its face, drawing the 5 cards basically gives you a well fleshed out story, and that's at the epic adventures level. Of course, this is applicable to all the different decks, but you also have the contracts and bounties. This is more for maybe a single session or multi-session, not going to be your overarching story. It's probably going to be something related to a creature or humanoid did a thing and now there's a price on their head. So that could be the one of the main characters of the story. That could be a creature that you're hunting, a werewolf or something like that, that is come into town and terrorized. So you're on the hunt for that creature. It could be a party member. So it's a lot of different things that you can, a lot of different ways you can use that contracts and bounties. There are the political intrigue. There's a political intrigue theme, and that's going to be something where I would put that in as flavor. It might be a single session thing. It might be multi-session. It might be the entire campaign is influenced by this political intrigue event, and that could be somehow related to the overarching story. And you can, of course, use these decks together to say, okay, this is an event that happens because the big bad is doing this other thing, and this is an event that is a reaction to it by the nobility of the area. So you can play these card decks off of each other, which is nice. Then there's the relics and artifacts. This has more to do with the creation and procurement of relics and artifacts. So if you have things like a fetch quest, you need to go and you need to find a certain thing and bring it back for any reason. You need to go and discover the location of a certain artifact, that kind of thing. That's where these quests come in place. So those, again, are going to be something where you can use at the single session level, multi-session level, or maybe it's the item you need to defeat the big bad. So therefore, it can be a campaign level event as well. And then the last thing is simple side quests. And these are really designed to be more like single session quests, or at most multi-session. They're not supposed to be the whole campaign. It's like something like, hey, we need to get some money. How can we, maybe, we're going to help these dwarves get through their, tunnels to get to the other side or something like that. There's lots of different little side quests that can be in there, and they can be as interesting as you want them to be. So, but they're all built off that same structure where there's an actor or actors who need something. In that case, their action is they need to get through a certain place, and the subject is that place, and then the intent is, they need to find something on the way, they need to get to the other side, whatever. And the developments, I think, are the most interesting cards because they really add those twists or those extra details that really take the story from being, pretty straightforward on its face to maybe putting it on its side a little bit and adding quite a lot of intrigue or backstabbing or, different things that could happen that could completely change the course of the story.
Is this made particularly for like medieval fantasy campaigns?
This one is definitely themed toward the fantasy side, but it is system neutral. So you don't need to be in Pathfinder or D&D or Swords and Wizardry or GURPS or whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever, or you can even just be writing stories about fantasy. So it doesn't matter your game system, it is system neutral.
Let's talk about the art. I really like the art I've seen so far for these decks. Can you talk to us a little bit about the art direction?
So I did the art direction on this one, and originally we thought about how should the art look, realistic? Should it be conceptual? Should it be, because we had thoughts early on of making these tarot sized, and tarot decks have a lot of really cool style to them, and the older ones that you find are very plain and simple, and everyone's at profile, and we saw those and we thought that's pretty cool, but we've got a lot of really talented artists who can do way better detail than that kind of thing, but we still kind of want that flat, but let's blend it with almost like a three-dimensional there's light and everything coming from different directions, and hitting the characters in different ways. So we want that on maybe the foreground, but then we want the background to seem more two-dimensional. So that's kind of where we drew our inspiration from, was a couple different sources, the original tarot style, but also a few things we've seen from some other really talented artists out there, but sort of blending those two things together, having some realism and 3D, but also some surrealism. Like the main piece, we have smoke, but it's not drawn like smoke should be drawn. It's drawn very stylistically, and that's very much on purpose.
Let's talk about the stretch goals. Right now, this is currently on Kickstarter, and it's doing very well. What stretch goals are there currently?
So we've already achieved so we put out a survey to ask, based on our ideas of what could be stretch goals. We put out a survey, and the winners of that were definitely more artwork and more pre-generated content. Right now, it doesn't have any pre-generated content whatsoever. Well, it does now because we crossed the stretch goal, but originally it did not. So what we're doing is, at the $100,000 stretch goal, we are adding 25 stories. And if you're getting the box set, you'll get a little booklet that has all 25 in it. If you're getting any of the decks by themselves, the PDF will come with the stories appropriate to that theme. But basically, these are pre-generated stories using the story generator, and then our writers take it and crank it up a notch and flesh out, who are the main characters of this story, what are some quest hooks, some ideas of tying this into your own homebrew campaign, or even a campaign that you're running out of a book, and then provide some art, provide some NPCs and that kind of thing, and boom, you've got something that you can drop into your own campaign if you want. So, and then beyond that, we were, it's kind of weird, because you start to get to a point where the project isn't going to benefit from anything else, like just, and I hate to sound negative, but it's just like junk, just stuff that people often throw into Kickstarters for no other reason than they want to offer something as a stretch goal. And I think that that's not great. You're going away from maybe the spirit of the actual product itself. And yeah, buttons and pins are a lot of fun. People can show their love for your brand and all that. But to me, if it's not adding something to the product itself, and it's not enhancing the product and adding value to it, I don't really want to do it. So we've asked the community for suggestions, and we're putting out another survey today, where we're basically taking all those suggestions and having everyone vote on what their favorite one is. So, and what we've gotten so far has been card quality. So we do a 300 GSM 2-ply black core card stock, which is very high quality, but there's 350 and thicker stuff we could go for if we wanted to. We've had people throw out suggestions about holofoil cards, like shiny cards and stuff, booster packs, expansion decks, all that kind of stuff. And we're going, okay, we'll take a look at it. I definitely think that one that would be a lot of fun is a booster pack that's all blank. So you get one booster pack of 60 cards, and all of them are blank, and they all will match correctly the artwork to their appropriate deck. So you get a few cards that are going to go into your I guess it would be 12 cards. It'd be 12 cards that would go into your Epic Adventures deck, and it would be totally blank. You could fill it out yourself on what you want, and you would just follow the model that we present, which is to have a keyword at the top, and then 4 different more detailed versions of that same concept at the bottom. So that I could definitely see that as being a popular thing. The other thing too is just to use the money that we're getting as an overfunding to develop future products. So if we are seeing this positive of a response from this product, why not make another one? Why not make, and we're already looking at a character generator, so we can have a character generator, we can make a second, and we had this in the works already, but we may just ramp up development on it is a location-based story generator. So right now we have event-based. Well, there's no reason why you can't have location-based, and we can use all the standard locations we usually use, which would be dungeon, underground, wildlands, waterways, and urban. So very easy to do that kind of thing. And so why not? But anyway, so the stretch goals are tricky for sure, and you also have to make sure that they are reasonably priced, because if you have a stretch goal where you're going, well, between this 100,000 and that 100,000, we're gonna put out some pins. It's like, really? Did it really cost $100,000 to make some pins? I don't think so. So you have to be realistic about the stretch goals and make sure your backers are, well taken care of and feel that the stretch goals do conform to the spirit of the campaign.
And speaking of future projects, is there anything that Nord Games is currently working on that you would like to share? Any teasers, anything like that?
Well, I already teased a little bit about the future of the Oracle, so lots going on there. We've already, I've got a whiteboard over here that we can't show you that's got all kinds of cool stuff on it for the future of the Oracle. But as far as other projects, let's see, the Ultimate Bestiary miniatures are in production at this point. The Dangerous Destinations book that we crowdfunded we kickstarted in February is nearing completion. We're working on all the pre-generated content right now that was unlocked through stretch goals. And then the Oracle is currently running. Beyond that, we may have beyond that, we may have a follow-up book to the Ultimate Guide to Alchemy, Crafting, and Enchanting. And that's this one here. So we're working on a follow-up to this, and it would have a lot of expanding on the foraging and harvesting side of things. So very excited about that book. It's coming along very, very nicely.
Oh, that's awesome. So, that's definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one for sure. And that will also have more of the magic item compendium. So when we did this, we have a chapter in the back called the Magic Item Compendium, and it had 200 new magic items. In the follow-up book to this, we will also have another Magic Item Compendium with 200 more items. So yeah, lots of cool, exciting stuff coming out. And that's about all I can say for now. Anybody who's a big fan of our stuff, we do have also the Ultimate NPCs books, more are being worked on, and the Ultimate Bestiary books, more are being worked on.
Wow. For anyone watching, the links will be in the description below. Thank you, Chris, for taking the time to talk to us about these exciting products. And again, congratulations on the Oracle project. I'm very keen to see this in my hands. I got a lot of players to try this on.
Me too. And we may have some prototypes we can send to people. So keep that in mind. But yeah, appreciate it. And thanks to you. Thanks for your viewers. And yeah, check out the project and share it with your friends. It's always much appreciated.
Excellent. So yes, everyone out there, get your shots. Take care. Have a good day.